Here we go.
Collaborating with Frank Sinatra, Ray Charles, and hundreds of other recording artists, has died aged 91. Jones died Sunday night at his home in Bel Air, surrounded by his family. The family said in a statement, "Tonight, with full but broken hearts, we must share the news of our father and brother Quincy Jones's passing. And although this is an incredible loss for our family, we celebrate the great life that he lived and know there will never be another like him." Jones's list of honours and awards fills 18 pages in his 2001 biography, Q. He won 28 Grammys out of 80 nominations, an Honorary Academy Award, and an Emmy for Roots. In 2001, Jones was named a Kennedy Center honoree for his contributions to American culture. His survivors include his daughter Rashida Jones and 5 other daughters, plus her son, his brother, and 2 sisters. Quincy Jones, the music titan whose...
Wow. So doing the marketing lab, and so going through the feeds and kind of checking up on everybody, and seeing what people were posting and everything, and yeah, and you're just, my heart, my heart's so heavy. My dad's 81, and in April there was a real scare. His kidneys had shut down. They had given him an experimental drug because his levels were just a little high on, on the levels for kidneys and everything. And so his doctor, prescribed him this medication, because he's a survivor of prostate cancer. And I just remember at the kitchen table one Sunday, he was telling me, "I'm having problems." I wet the bed. And I said, "Well," I kind of told him, I said, "Well, I've been using like Depend-Stat since, you know, uh, my mid 40s, like around 46, 47." And, um, because, I had bladder control problems. And so I said, don't be afraid to do it, because my friend that had all this cancer, she's the one that encouraged me. So I encourage you and everything. Don't be vain about it. And, but I didn't know what was really going on, because he's really protective about, you know, his body. But when I think about this, um, there was one Sunday, normally I go there at 2, but for some reason, I felt that I had to go there earlier. Um, and he lost, I could tell he wasn't himself, he wasn't his sarcastic self. And he was incoherent. And from all the times I remember, during COVID, and you know and also working on a geriatric side and everything, a mental health hospital, I was like, okay, these are some warning signs with, I just talked to you last week, and he was talking to his mother, And and because of my tone of voice and everything, when I got on the phone with her, she thought it was my dad. Uh it was just a feeling of, okay, something's going on here. And then, then my brother tells me what's been happening on the last week, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I was frustrated, but I didn't have time to feel that emotion because I had to go into, like, okay, this is what we got to do and everything. And, you know, I lost all sensitivity because I had to go down the checklist and, get him to the hospital because my brother was afraid to, try to get my dad in the car. He didn't want, and I said, look, I mean, it's easy, because all, all the times I worked at the mental health hospital, and, so my dad was in the bathroom and I did the cop knock. Like, we gotta go. Um, and he snapped too, right? Uh, but okay, yeah. So 7 days later, I'm going. My brother's got the situation under control, right? And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna take care of my daughter Jenny because my daughter Jenny lives with my parents, and so I'm just spending time with Jenny through all of this, and you know, and she's going through my life, because I didn't change anything. Um, because when I get that way, when I don't know, when there's uncertainty around the corner, and it, um, yeah, it's just even, that last week with Bill, my second husband, after the biopsy and everything, it was just like, man, the only way I could maintain any composure was just to go back to military training and just go down the list. And so I've been just trying to keep it together with all this stuff. um, you know, yeah, like with my pets, um and just all the loss that I've experienced recently. And it'll take that's what you'll just lose it. I know. I was just explaining to a girl today, what happened to me on Sunday with altar call, and then um coming through. Yeah, and then afterwards having to go through the rain, and I had zero visibility, but maintaining, pulling in a driveway. But I did do a recording, and that's what timestamps to me. It's like when I feel it, when I feel like I'm about to fall apart. Um, I do a recording, right? Because I don't know, this practice is called the Viscott Method, and there's nothing. Um, so, like, after so much practice with the Viscott Method, going straight into a recording, and so I can play it back, so I can see myself, feel that emotion, and step back and objectivity, right? But it's like right now, it's like my heart is just goes, I mean, because I mean, with everything that went on this past week, right? What in the, with with me doing Solomon 11 and, um, you know, looking at this flow of information and what's important. And so, like 1 minute, like Quincy Jones only gets 1 minute, man. And I'm sure, but this is the Associated Press. Um, yeah, and I'm just like, last night, this time last night, pretty much, I'm, making a video and, you know, the pull on the internet from the elections for the election results, just what people wanted to know, who's going to be president. Me, I was just like, man, I can't do any kind of, I couldn't even, get on YouTube and listen to a song that, to call, I couldn't get on Spotify. And so, but I was just so tired. I just went to sleep, right? Um, and so, everything is situation normal. But I was just like so, so drained from being overnight and, wanting, to get my video done. And I finally, you know, got to do the editing of it. And then, I'm just doing my miracle hour and this happens. And I'm like, what do I talk about? I'm all, when I came in through the door, you know, um, and so the first thing is it was just like from a book. Let me get it. So, you know, this is from a book by Barbara J. Winter, and she passed away October 28th of 2022. I'm just looking up this author, and so a woman posts about her death, and and the woman's a social worker, and she's got a YouTube on how her case study is herself in order to encourage social workers to get a little bit deeper. And it's hard, but I understood the concept of your case studies yourself because, when I started all of this and during an election year, the Obama election, um, yeah, I'm just like, I'm just too blown away about all the things that have happened to me. But this is a quote from Tom Robbins, and it says, getting to know your new boss. This is about making a living without a job, winning ways for creating work that you love, and so when getting to know your new boss, getting to know you, right? And he says, our individuality is all that we have. And this Quincy's such a great man. I mean, like, it mentions his, his autobiography Q and um uh, and 18 pages of successes, right? And this man only gets a minute in the Associated Press. But there are those who would barter it for security. But blessed in the twinkle of the morning star is the one who nurtures and rides it in grace and love and wit. And so this is a man that did that. And as a result of him doing that, well, you know, I mean, Michael Jackson was definitely mentioned. And then, so, how many people, did he impact? And it goes on and on and on, all because the all these people involved. Yeah, that's what Quincy did, was individuality, and um he embraced that. He was that twinkle in the morning star. So I'm just sitting here going, what? It's too much, man. It is too much. The feeling, coming in and, trying to maintain all this stuff in the media, and what's going to get me, right? What's going to, make me just be one more time just so humble before, you know, this creation, this, um, and yeah, I told, this, and I was so afraid to, approach this woman, but she, before, I did the Billy Graham ultra call, right? I told myself I would never do that. I would never, ever in my life do the Billy Graham thing, Eh, um all of my existence I would never get that emotional, but man, I did. Yeah. 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 And so explain, because this woman was like, she was reaching to give me a hug one day, and I was just like, I was so ice cold, and she felt it. She was like, "Oops, I think I made a mistake." And then I'm like sitting there like, "No, you didn't." I'm trying to, communicate. No, you didn't make a mistake. It's just kind of, but both of us were in that awkward hug moment, like, "Oh, are we supposed to be doing this?" And I was able today after a dinner, because I finally, like, told her, yeah, uh, I finally let it happen. I finally let that spirit flow in. And I finally, because man, I can't do it anymore. I cannot keep it together and feel like, you know, I can't do the wokeness anymore. You get what I'm saying? I can't. I'm not medicated. I remember a time when I was medicated and I could go through life, just feel like unaffected, right? I can't. I can't do it anymore. All that stuff is completely out of my system. So there is nothing blocking flow of emotion, right? And so, have we as a society just gotten to the point where we don't want to feel? And I'm like, I'm telling you, man, right now, it's like, it's heavy, you know. But you know what? It's good. It's good to feel. Because I can't just walk, I just can't do it anymore. Um, mean, I do. Yeah, there are times when it's like, man, it's like when I have to go through that checklist, and crisis situations. Okay, we this is what but man, I still can feel, you know, um, and I that's the beauty of living alone, because I can. But the thing is, I'm still gonna record it, right? And I'm going to share it because, because heaven forbid if there's somebody out there that feels it is wrong to feel. No, in all this wokeness, right? I mean, this is getting to the point of being ridiculous. Yeah, what, don't cry? I mean, I've been through that But I remember, years of my life, because I was medicated, including self-medication, right? Including me medicating myself with alcohol, that I did it so I would not feel, you know? And I'm blessed today. I'm very blessed that I can hold that heaviness with, yes, there's some emotional regulation, but at the same time, you know, my goodness, you know, and it's good. I mean, that emotional pain will, add up, but I mean, at least I'm not to the point of, jumping off a building, you know? Well, I live in a trailer. I don't live in, um, I purposely don't live in a high rise. I watch too many Lethal Weapon movies, you know? And, yeah. So, if you're falling apart, it's okay. Because we all are falling apart. It's just sometimes, I was just looking at my stuff today, I remember, me falling apart, but, everything was pristine, man. Everything was clean because, I had, you know, the man in my life, he just knew how to keep everything clean in crisis, right? So I'm like looking at a picture of Sonny on his couch and everything looks in order, right? Uh-uh. Not today for me. It's like, I mean, I'm more in order seeing everything around me in disarray because I am a fan, a great fan of Rayberry. Um, you know, I remember, Rayberry, Ray Bradbury, Ray Bradbury. I kind of just condensed that. Ray Bradbury Theater. I remember, the intro and him like, having that little like hole in his universe where he just, where he could write. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I had to create in order to be a writer. So with that, man, I could not keep it together without saying something on this one. So bless you if your heart is heavy. Um, but we do know who can lighten. We all know who has the yoke, right? When we are having, but I mean, I'm like, I want to, I wish I could sing, but I'm not, I'm just thinking, like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down. But I had to, man. All right. I think I'm over. Yeah, I think I made it through that moment. Okay. Peace out.